Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Wilson, Clint Thompson, David Murphree from the Talk or Go Home guys, and we've got two special guests with us today on this episode.
One was scheduled and the other one just kind of invited himself.
But I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it came about because I've wanted to have Justin Williams on the podcast for a while. So, Justin,
glad to be here.
Thank you for being here, man. This is going to be fun. And then Jodie, Whaley.
I'm the one that invited myself.
That's good.
The man, the myth, the legend. Welcome in.
I was doing bust duty out back, saw Miss Hare out there, thought I'd come in here and bust in on you guys.
Welcome in. This is gonna be fun. You have got a lot of stories. All of you have really a lot of stories to tell because you were all kind of here together. I was not here at high school.
You were in kindergarten.
I wasn't born. Actually, no, I was born. I was in kindergarten when y'all were here.
You were in middle school.
I was in middle school when you left.
Yeah.
When y'all graduated, I was in the first grade.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to offend anybody. It was the golden years of Asheville High School.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It really was.
Yes.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Does everybody say that, though?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think they can.
I don't think
because
so.
every time I start a story about Asheville, it's 20 years ago, this happened.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
20 years. Is
It's
that
probably more of a gilded age.
Yeah.
But it was our.
I heard y'all were going to tell stories on me, so I thought I'd show up.
Well, so before we get into those stories, because we are going to tell stories,
Yes.
I just want to quickly plug Ham and Spam Retro Review.
Yeah, sure.
So go ahead.
That thing.
That's a thing
That's a thing that
happens.
we do sometimes when we decide to do it with me and Jonathan Hamilton. You can catch Justin on there. You can catch Murphree on a simulcast. You can catch you on there on a couple episodes. So check that out.
Wherever podcasts are available. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We're on all the social media. If you want to watch this episode, if you're listening to it and you want to watch it, go ahead and hop on the Spotify app. We show this on the Spotify app as well as YouTube.
You want to watch this episode, I'm just telling you.
You do want to watch this episode. This is a nice roundtable discussion. So let's go ahead and let's dig in. Who wants to kick off with what? Who wants to go ahead and set the context?
First thing, last time you were at Asheville High School, Coach Whaley?
Spring of 2007.
Okay, so it's been that long since you've been in this area, in this school.
Oh, no, I come by and visit from time to time.
Oh, okay.
But
well, that just totally derailed my conversation.
Well, I came over here in the fall of 2007. I was the principal at Sachs High. Came to a volleyball game. I remember pretty well because in May of that year, right before I left, I promised the entire student body that whatever I did before I left, I would get air conditioning into the gym. Now, I didn't tell anybody this, but I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
But I left the student body with the impression that I was going to get credit for making sure. Well, I came in that fall, and I had to have a quilt during that volleyball game. It was cold. Another thing I remember about that game is someone up in the stands said something they should not have said. The official brought the game to a stop.
Uh-oh.
They had called the official. They had called the official something you're not supposed to call someone, but similar to a donkey. And so he calls me over and he says, "Hey, you got to put a stop to this." I said, "Hey, I'm not the principal here. This is not my gym." He said, "Well, I guess I am a dumb one."
A donkey.
Yeah, but everybody in the bleachers heard him, so it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Justin, how long has it been since you've been in the hallowed halls of Asheville High School?
In this building, gosh, probably about as long.
Yeah.
I'll still drive by. We live in Calhoun County, so sometimes we have family in Etowah County. We'll come back through, and I'll drive by and show the kids where Dad went to high school, But in the building, probably about the same. Yeah, in that time. I said I got a little nostalgic when I drove up today.
Well,
it's weird because there's a mix of a lot's the same, even with the new built around. There's still a lot of things that are exactly the day I was there
the
last
bones
year.
are still here.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So
Wonderful to be back.
All right.
So how long has it been? He said
it's about the same time. So 2007.
2007,
Yeah.
man. Okay.
That I can remember. I mean,
Yeah.
my mom taught first grade. 33? She retired. I guess she's been retired going on 10 years. So.
Okay.
I mean, I was around. Here. That was elementary school. She was at Asheville
Yeah.
Elementary. But here, this building, probably about the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, until Mays really started getting into sports, it had been a long time since I'd been here
Yeah.
too. Probably 2004.
Yeah.
And then my stepdaughter was in the band for a little while, so we did that thing. But as far as actually in the school, it's Up until about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, I hadn't really been in it, and then of course, helping with the football team and stuff. Now
you're here every day.
It seems like I'm here all the time now. So,
yeah.
Well, fellas, it's good to have you here. Like I said, we kind of wanted to have you guys on. Obviously, Coach Whaley was scheduled, and then I said, you know what? We've got some stories that we've got to really get out there, and some fact checking that needs to go on as I spit across the table. My bad. And I figured, hey, the one person that can help, fact or fiction these stories would be one Justin Williams. So. The original plan was, hey, Justin, we're going to do a FaceTime. I'm just going to record it. We're going to play it during the episode and just go that route. And he's just like, can I just come on? Because this sounds like a lot of fun.
And I feel guilty about that.
No, he told me. He said, Justin wants to come on. I said, I've been wanting this to happen forever.
Yeah,
seriously, I have.
Yeah,
it's very rare the stars align, and they literally align for.
I thought they were not
meeting.
going to align today.
Very close.
Very. Yeah. I do apologize if I've thrown a kink in things.
No,
goodness.
No, not at all.
You asked what we're going to do. I told you we were going to talk and we were going to go home.
That's good.
This is it. So
and that throws people off. They're like, okay, what are we talking about? And we're like,
whatever
just comes up. People
good.
think we actually plan for this thing. We do. We do, but not in detail.
Right.
No, there's no detail.
There's been no planning with me. No one has told me what to say.
Yeah.
Okay, let me mention one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, when did you graduate?
2002.
Okay. Now, I got married in 2002.
Oh,
Okay.
And you were in a band in high school, Steve Gregerson band. And then y'all played at the one thing we did, we had the talent show.
We did.
And I sang with y'all in the talent show. And then y'all played my wedding.
Yes, they did.
You remember playing my wedding?
You sang Dooley
Yeah, dude.
at the talent show.
Yeah.
Dressed up as Briscoe Darling.
Yeah,
and
Briscoe
sang as Dooley.
Then y'all did my wedding, and I don't know if y'all got paid for that or not. Did y'all get anything for that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Nothing.
It was good, though. Y'all did a great job.
I don't even think we were allowed to eat refreshments. But it was fun because at the time,
we didn't have enough. Well, you had to go last.
Matthews Manor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Springville? Yeah.
You had to go, yeah.
We did. It was real hot. Had to move on equipment.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all doing that.
But thank you for having us. Yeah, it was great.
I finally got a thank you out of it.
So, that's actually the perfect segue into the main story
Oh, here we go.
that we wanted to get into. So, senior year, we decide that we are going to participate in the Beta Club talent show. Do you remember any of this where I'm going?
Oh my!
I'm not trying to stay. How close are you to retirement in the States?
I retired in December, this past December.
Oh, well, then we're good. You good.
Statute of limitations has to take place in a lot of this. I'm just going to call that.
You want to be an active administrator in the system, and some of this stuff come out. But anyway, but we shouldn't have had a beta. The fact we were in the Beta Club was ridiculous.
Exactly.
There was no. I mean, okay, the grades, but you're supposed to have character and stuff.
Model citizenship. What in the world is that?
It's ridiculous that we had a Beta Club. And if Beta Club knew that we had one, it's actually their fault.
They should audit us.
They should.
You got in because we were hoping you'd be like your mom, but
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I just fooled everybody. I mean, it's easy to make good grades when you don't have any academic classes. In our senior year,
quit everything.
Yeah, we did. But anyway,
so back on track here with the Beta Club story. So Miss Gibson, and I don't know if she'll listen to this or not, but if she doesn't,
we can send it to her.
Best math teacher
I've got
ever.
Ever. I'm sorry, Clint. I'm gonna stop it. But that woman. Now that I'm an educator myself, she's she is the best teacher.
Yes,
the best,
most patient,
not best math, just best teacher
she is so
ever.
Good. And that woman,
and I know, yeah, I know. We got one sitting here at the table.
I mean,
we got two.
Three
technically.
So
when we all get to heaven, there's going to be because of the story we're about to tell that I'm gonna hush. When we all get to heaven, there's going to be another room in the back. And we're all going to look around and go, what's that? And God's going to say, that's for Sharon Gibson. That's her special.
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
So we get together, and we're going to go to the Beta Club convention in Birmingham. Great, googly moogly Birmingham. And they've shacked us up in the Sheridan Hotel.
Have I heard this story?
I don't think you have. That's why I didn't want to say anything.
I think I've heard parts.
Okay.
I think I know. This is great.
So I'm also going to preface this story with professional wrestling was really, really, really big at the
It
time.
was the Attitude Years.
It was, wow, what some great times. So what do a bunch of high school seniors decide to do whenever they get away from mom and dad and they've got a hotel room that basically they're not responsible for? We're going to do wrestling moves on each other, among other things.
Yeah.
And yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you want. Yeah.
Go.
So,
Go.
yeah.
Because there's parts of this that I've apparently purposely blocked out.
A lot of it was
so.
a blur. I've seen pictures on Twitter of him being here with no clothes on. That's not
Yes.
new.
Yes.
His psychopathy goes way back.
Let's define his and he. What pronoun are we talking about here?
Yeah, well,
Clint.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I don't know. The picture I saw, it was hard to tell. But anyway, it was sort of. But yeah. So, but we get off in the elevator. We get up to the room. Before we get to the room, Clint's clothes are almost off. He gets in the hallway of this place and starts taking his clothes off. I don't know why he can't keep his clothes on anywhere. They're off.
It's hot in here right now.
It is hot in here.
Oh, don't, oh, please no.
Now, is this
please.
this is the same trip where we had the Steve Gregerson band performance?
Yes.
Too, right? So we had.
So we're on the short bus. First of all, we're on the short bus there.
Appropriately.
With band equipment in the back, and basically I'm there to be a roadie and go to the band club. I'm in.
Appropriately. I did, and I didn't know if it was whatever.
Yeah.
But, but anyway, so we have the Steve Gregerson band. First of all, was me, Tim Davis, John Wilcox, Eric Brown, and Joel Cash.
Yes.
Okay, so we had all.
What a group!
What a group! We all had all of our
great kids.
Eric Brown, the great bassist.
The great bassist. He is.
He still plays.
I think
right?
he still plays. Yes.
Whitney Junction.
Hey, circle this back to Eric Brown because I got one more follow-up story at the
Go
end.
tell.
Yeah, so we have the talent show, and we play this piece of music. I play a guitar solo behind my head, and it's
Like a BA.
Hold on, wait a minute. Like
yeah,
something like this,
Yeah,
like
like
you
that.
would see, like in what Marty, what's his name, did.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
That's
okay.
where you come from.
Okay,
an original
gotcha.
piece of
Yeah.
music we put together called Funk Number One.
Yeah.
And
Awesome
the crowd loved it. We did not win. Somebody did a 9/11 thing.
I roll. A huge
Well, it's 2002. How are you going to compete with that? Well, I don't mean it to sound the way it sounds. I'm not glad it happened, but we know you can't compete with the red, white, and
You
blue.
can't compete with
can't.
emotion, pure, raw, patriotic emotion.
So we didn't win, and
you can't
you can't
compete
compete
with
with that.
This does nothing. This does
I'm
nothing.
playing a great guitar solo behind my head, but it ain't gonna beat Lee Greenwood,
Oh God.
But anyway, so that happens, and all I know is that at some point we go back up to the room. There are plenary sessions and breakout sessions that we just completely ignore, and that's another thing. Like Miss Gibson, God love her, because she was with us on the trip, and I genuinely. I don't want to pitch this as like we were some kind of pack of rebels. It wasn't that.
No,
But
no.
We pushed the envelope far enough to maintain external reputation. We were the whitewashed tombs Christ talked about.
Barely.
Absolutely.
Barely.
Yeah. And so she, bless her, I could tell she was, I remember it, and I look back now as a father and a teacher, and I really feel bad for what we put
Oh,
in.
yeah, 100%.
So we get to the room, and somehow we're in a room with Clint, and Clint wanted me to do a wrestling movie.
Prior to dinner.
Prior to dinner. And so I think it was the Pedigree, Triple H's move that I did. And I get Clint on the bed.
We're on the bed.
Yeah.
My head is between his legs, for those of you that know the move.
The Pedigree. And we do it, and the bed
It implodes.
crashes.
It implodes. It just goes
Just crashes.
just like that.
The whole wood chips.
Everything.
Fall everywhere. And I said, Clint, man, this is not good. Because we can't, we're going to get in trouble now.
Yes.
Now we've danced on the wild side. And it's
Well, y'all played a rock show, then trashed the room.
It's got a point.
Joe Walsh would be proud.
He would.
And so Clint, we made it lie. We just made up a story that Clint didn't feel good because we came out in the hallway and Miss Gibson was like, "Where's Clint?" And they said, his stomach's torn up. He's not going to go to dinner. He's going to be in the room. But really, what he's doing is trying to fix the bed.
Trying to fix the bed.
Does he have any clothes on at this time?
Yes.
He had pants on.
Yeah.
He had pants
You
on.
were shirtless.
I can't confirm nor deny that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But when we got there, he was in his underwear.
Okay.
Running down the aisle.
So during this time, they all leave and go to dinner, and I am frantically trying to get this bed back together. And it's just press board. Anybody that's ever worked with wood and like IKEA furniture and stuff, it's just there's nothing holding that together except just screws or barely in boards, and if you pull it hard enough, it's just going to come apart.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll be full disclosure. I am in our pack of miscreants. I am the instigator, but I'm also the pull it together when things go off. It's my fault that everything happened. But I finally was like, Clint, buddy, you gotta fix this bed. Like, we're gonna go to dinner and you get this bed fixed. And dinner took forever, and I remember coming back. I remember coming back in. I remember coming back in that room, and I thought, Jesus, Lord of my life, just let me see that Clint has got the bed fixed. And I walk in that room, and it's worse. Clint's sitting there. He just looks up at me with this helpless look on his face, like I can't do anything about it. Somehow we work through the night, skip more sessions. I don't know what we're doing. And Clint gets the bed fixed finally. And I was like, well, we're going to have to test it out. And he sits on it, and it holds, doesn't move. And then if you've seen Tommy Boy, they're on the bench at the end, and it just collapses again. So I guess we just left the bed broken. And,
No.
No.
So the conclusion of that part of the story is, I sat on the bed, everything was fine. I laid on the bed implodes again, and Justin just laughs and walks out the room.
Yeah.
So when he comes back,
giggling.
I've got it back together, and I've got it wedged somehow, some way, in a way that I end up sleeping on that very bed that night.
Yeah.
And we got out of that some way, somehow.
Well, you knew it would hold, at least.
At least, like, again, referencing Tommy Boy, whenever he backs the car up and the door falls the wrong way, and then when David Spade's character comes out and he yanks it off, and Tommy Boy goes, "What'd you do?" That's what I did. It's like, hey, if they come in, this bed's broken, I'm just going to say, "What'd you do?" Because it was fixed when I laid on it. I have proof.
Yeah, you did. Fixed it.
Later that night, we did find the ice machine, and this is one of those kind of not the tip of the iceberg story here, no pun intended, but we found the ice machine. And do you remember what we were doing with the ice?
I don't remember the ice machine.
You don't remember? Okay, so we had the ice machine. We went and found buckets, and everybody was like, "Clint, can you bust this ice with your head?"
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was taking the ice, and where the now this is before wall-mounted TVs and everything. I was taking the ice and putting it down, and I would just hit my head, literally hit my head on this ice and just crush it. Well, everybody's laughing and thinking it's funny, so what does Clint do? He does it more, because that's what happens. After about the 25th or 30th or 700th piece of ice that I've broken, my head is like bleeding, and like it looks like hamburger meat at this point.
Yeah, explains a lot today.
Yeah. So, what were we doing?
Yeah, I know things really went down in the evening because, and again, there's a Beta Club convention going on.
That's centered around this.
And we're just in the room having a party. And at some point, Clint sticks his rear end out of the window and moons somebody, and people see his rear end from the street.
Well, I don't know if it's from the street. Something. I mean, we're several floors up at this point.
Yeah,
but come full circle, we've kind of talked everything around it. We get back to the school.
Here's where he comes.
And this is where
I remember when we saw him.
Yes.
Because I was always working, so I never tucked my shirt in, and everybody's like, "You tuck your shirt in."
Because that was a big thing.
It was a big thing. I had my shirt tucked in.
Well, how much did he know about all this when y'all got back?
See,
what did he know?
We didn't really know. I don't know where it came from.
Well, somebody called because he knew.
Let's clear that up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Spill the beans.
How did you know? Because he was really mad at us when we got there.
Mad ain't the word.
Mad is not the word.
Disappointed is probably more the word.
No. The thing was, I was trying to save y'all's lives.
I know.
Because Sharon Gibson wanted you on the chopping block.
She did. Well,
and you deserved it.
So y'all loaded up the short bus and come back.
Yes.
And then this
after we played, lost to the 9/11.
Miss Gibson's got me waiting on them when they arrive.
So she knows what all has gone on.
Not everything, but she knows y'all need some
So
attention.
how much of what I just said was new to you?
The bed was new to me.
Okay. What?
The mooning wasn't.
Was the nudity? Okay. Did you know about the nudity?
I did not know about that. Well, mooning. I knew about some mooning.
Well, he was naked.
Yeah.
He was naked. Yeah. Okay.
So I thought if I would come down really, really hard on you guys in front of Miss Gibson, maybe she would say, "Hey,
all right,
it's okay.
That's enough.
Yeah, let's let them stay." And it worked.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now
it was really weird with her, and she bless her heart. I can't.
Her
I
husband was here one day, and he just kind of pulled me to the side and said, "I don't know what happened on that Beta Club trip, but you have scarred her for life."
Yeah, it was
like it was that
and there's
bad.
so much that I don't even remember. I mean, I remember.
Well, I remember going to the McWayne
I'll
Center.
Never forget seeing you in that bed. I mean, it looked like a tornado came through that hotel.
I remember the McWayne Center and almost getting kicked out of the McWayne Center. There's a picture floating around of me inside of this huge bass fish-looking thing. Yeah. Like, my head's hanging out of it, and, like, I got this weird look on my face, and in the background, security guard going, like, what in the world is wrong with this kid?
Yeah, but this is a small thing. This is just this is symptomatic of a greater disease, in that we just had this fixation on hurting Clint. You know, Clint and I actually went on Tuttle and Klein.
Great story.
Great story. We had just graduated.
Yes.
I don't want to gravitate away, but we're not gravitating away. It's all the same thing.
It really is.
And,
but hold on.
Yeah.
Whenever you pulled us all into your office, you made a comment. Okay, and I don't know if you remember the specific comment. You said that my actions caused a pileup on I-65.
I remember that.
I remember that. I'm a male, white-blooded, a red-blooded, white American male, and
you get that looked at.
I know now that I-65 is 2 miles up from the Sheridan now. But this man had me, like, so mortified, like, I've almost caused people's lives in my one little tiny 6x4 window that nobody can see out of on a massive interstate that's 2 miles away from the hotel.
It worked.
And it worked.
I remember looking in your eyes. You believed everything I said.
Well, because
puppies were killed, Clint.
Because like I said, people hear this. It wasn't like we were rogue derelicts. We really were not. But that was as far as we pushed the wild side.
Miss Gibson's problem was y'all were great kids.
We were.
But she had rules she was supposed to follow. She hated the position she had been put in.
Right.
She loved you guys.
Well, I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying that. She's just
anybody in that era that graduated, and my sister too. She was a big, huge influence on my sister becoming a math teacher.
Absolutely.
In the same school system.
The finest so incredible. Yeah. So good.
She just didn't like the situation she'd been put in. You know,
well,
she knew she had to follow some policy. She thought, well, you're going to fire me now, being the Beta Club sponsor. You know, and that's the last thing on my mind. But
it's like in National Treasure where he says somebody's got to go to prison.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's all right. So go ahead with your story.
Yeah, I don't want to I tell you, but there's so many. Somehow Clint got us on Tuttle and Klein. Clint said he would do
radio show in Birmingham.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm so terrible at this for those
for our German listeners.
Right.
We do seriously. We have people in Germany.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Shout out to you.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I say the one German word I know?
As long as it's not a cuss word.
Ramenstein.
We should probably tell the Miss Velsky story tonight. We had an English teacher here named Miss Velsky. I've got a really good story to tell on that.
Yeah, well, I forgot about her. My goodness,
I did too.
I'll be here all night. But it's okay. So Clint did a volunteer. They were basically like number 2 to Ricky, but they were a decent sized radio show. And Clint, they did something where you would do stupid stuff on the air, win a prize.
Make a wish with no foundation. And my wish was to get tickets to the Crawfish Bowl that was coming up.
That's right. Okay.
And, you know, pretty easy. Radio stations, they get things like that all the time. So
their sponsors are there. They're involved. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can do it. Why don't you guys come up and hang out, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, like, they're just sitting there talking, and we're just sitting there watching, and like, man, this kind of sucks. And, like, you know, during commercial breaks, they're asking, like, what do you guys do? What are y'all into? And, of course, I've got my main man, Justin, here, who I completely trust 110%.
The instigator.
Yeah.
The silent instigator.
I say, well, I can get hit in the head with a steel chair live on the radio. And they're like, whoa, you'll do that? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Well, little did we know, we ended up doing it 3 times that day.
Yeah, and
Richard Karn was their celebrity that came on. Do you remember this?
I do remember that.
Richard Karn he had just taken over Family Feud. Yeah. And they were talking to him about it, and they rushed that interview to get back on after the commercial for me to get hit in the head with a steel chair live on the radio.
That's great.
And see, word had gotten back. We had just graduated, and word got back. My mom, like I said, was first grade teacher here, and so they all knew it was coming. So they had the radio on in the
classroom.
People were listening live, and Tuttle and Klein built it up so much that I thought we can't let this go.
No.
You know, we've got to do it. And I don't know about professional wrestlers in chairs. Maybe you do. If they're real, I don't know. But these chairs were real solid.
Yeah, they were real.
And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Well, how much time did they give you to recover, like the first time? And then
it's like segment 1 and segment 3. So, what, 15, 20 minutes? Yeah.
We both had to sign waivers.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Sign waivers.
And it was also Friday, too, was it? Yeah.
It was a Friday.
It was a Friday.
They brought Bubba.
Yeah.
He watched it, standing by the door, and they got everybody in. And I remember looking at Clint, and I made eye contact with him, and I know he knew what I meant. I didn't say it out loud, but I looked at him and I said, "Buddy, I love you, but I got to do this."
I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I did. I hit him. So I thought, my God, what are we gonna do? I hit you real hard with a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And you liked
But anyway,
yeah. Hold on. That resulted in.
Yeah, and that's where Alex, what a waste. He went,
Hey.
I didn't get to go.
Justin had a prior, I think it was a band thing with JSU.
Something, I don't know.
And Alex wasn't able to go, so what they gave us the tickets and said, "Hey, we'll be at stage whatever.
Yeah.
Come here at this time." So we showed up at that time. Justin wasn't there. So
They were like,
"Hey, would you be willing to do this again here on stage
in front of
everybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no big deal." So I get up there, and of course I don't have Justin. I've got somebody completely new in Alex.
Alex, yeah.
And
Alex gave
and
it a
anybody
weak
that knows Alex, and not everybody's going to, but everybody at this table does. Alex, like, you don't know what you're going to get out of Alex sometimes. That's the best way to describe it.
That's true.
So we get up there on stage, and Alex has got this chair, and like they're like, "Hey, if you listen to Tuttle and Klein, you saw this guy or heard about this guy, we're going to do it live right here, and Clint's going to take this steel chair shot. All right, guys, take it away." And I get up there, and Alex has got the chair, and he kind of looks at me, and he rears back, and he goes,
It's
like
awful.
that.
Yeah.
Like it went over like a fart.
but
They booed us off the stage.
But
it
you
was
didn't
so bad.
tell him beforehand, "Hey, you got to really hit me."
I didn't. But like I got up, I said, "You're going to have to do it again." And like, "All right, guys, we got to go." And luckily, because he would have killed me the second time, but we got booed off stage for that.
Y'all gig was over. You
Yeah.
get to take it on
So
the road.
15 minutes done.
You were the pre-social media version of viral, and you screwed it up.
Yeah.
I didn't
screwed it
swing it. I didn't swing the chair.
You should have told him.
I don't
Y'all
want to be on
screwed
this.
it. Y'all screwed it.
I don't want to be on this podcast
Now that you
anymore.
brought Alex up, I remember in the teacher's workroom,
this-
in that circle, the nickname we had for all of y'all.
Oh, really? This is great.
Oh, this is great.
Y'all are known as the Sweathogs.
The what?
The
Sweat hog.
Yeah.
The title of our podcast, The Sweathogs, right here.
Yeah, it's a reference back to a TV show back in the 70s. You'd have to check it out.
Yeah.
Look it up, Google it. But, yeah, y'all were known as the Sweathogs.
See, I'm curious about the other side of the window because now that we're on the other
Yeah,
side, now I'm
like
on
you
the other
see it,
side.
like-
I've got students now, but now I do think back a lot.
Yeah, because
Sometimes I have commutes and I think back to the things we did at this place, and I always wondered what.
well, like as a
What do the people in
parent
charge
too,
think?
because you know when you were growing up, you're like, mom and dad, they don't know any better. No, they knew. They
Yeah,
knew.
for sure.
Same thing, like the teachers, they don't know any. They don't know. You know, the teachers don't know. Miss Gibson doesn't know while we're getting her keys
She knew
and
everything.
sprinting back to her room to do move of the day and almost killing me 8 different times in the
happened.
floor of her classroom.
That happened.
She knew. So, like, how much did y'all actually know of all the just shenanigans we were doing?
It was pretty...
Well, I knew you got kicked a lot, and you spent a lot of time on the floor, and you
Yeah.
got kicked
Yeah.
a lot. But I didn't know y'all sprinted back to her room to do the rest of the moves. I didn't know about the
Every
baseball
day.
thing. I didn't know about
Every
that.
day. Hammy
Did
almost
y'all do
killed
stuff
me.
like that ever in my room too?
No, it was
You
after
had the
lunch.
reputation of I'm just being honest because I came in. You know, when we came in to high school, we were warned by what was his name? Super tall guy, history teacher, Chris
Hill.
Hill.
Mr. Hill.
He warned us about because he kind of sensed us at the
Regular.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6. He was really tall, really tall guy.
Play basketball at Jacksonville State.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, about
and
6'8".
so we came in terrified of you and Terry Morrow. We were terrified because it was just like, listen, if you look wrong, they're going to take you outside.
Yeah, we'd probably paddle you. We'd paddle you then.
Yeah,
probably.
Coach Morrow. I
Yeah.
watched Coach Morrow paddle people for just.
Yeah.
It was Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And so we didn't. We were a little nervous, you know. So we played. So naturally,
I didn't remember anything bad
we
happening
took
in my room.
advantage of people like poor Sherry Gibson. Did it in those rooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
You know, it wasn't just the students that would do things. You know, since we got German listeners, I'm going to tell you the Miss Belsky story. 10th grade English teacher.
Yeah.
I
vaguely remember Miss Belsky.
I had forgotten until you said her name.
Great teacher, great English teacher. Everybody loved her. She was pretty good tolerating you guys. But
no, is
she? Say it.
I don't know.
Passed,
right? I don't.
Yeah,
know.
she did.
I think she did.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But she had trouble with a student. I'm gonna tell you his name because I want y'all to be able to fact check me. I know I shouldn't tell you, but he was out in the hall.
Gloves are off here.
Chris.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Chris. I won't tell you his last name, but Chris knows all the truth of what I'm about to tell you. This story's pretty hard to believe. Ken Bledsoe, a teacher here, can also tell you the facts to this story. I asked him to check and see what I'd done, but so the head football coach, and we've had several here during my time, during the 11 years I was here, we had several. So I'm not going to say the name of the head coach.
Well, I'm going to say his name in a little while, but, I'm planning on it. Let's just say his initials are JG.
Oh, we are going to say.
Yeah, so go ahead.
All right. So,
JG.
Yeah.
So,
okay, here we go.
He doesn't want his football player to get suspended out of school, because if you get suspended out of school, you can't play ball.
Sure.
And we had a game coming up that Friday. So he escorts Chris to my office. Now, Miss Belsky had run out of disciplinary forms, so she took her own yellow notebook paper, and in her cursive writing, she wrote what had happened, what Chris had done wrong. And Coach Gross has got that piece of yellow paper in his hand like this right here, and he's holding it, and I don't get to read it right off. And he brings Chris up to my office. He says, Coach Whaley, we need to take care of Chris right now. He's been causing some trouble. Saw him out in the hall. I got the discipline referral right here. Giving a kid in the classroom named Julius a hard time. I said, Chris, is this true? Chris just nodded his head, no. Coach Cross didn't appreciate that. He said, yeah, you did. Says it right here on this piece of paper. He's giving Julius a hard time. Don't deny it. You calling Miss Belsky a liar? I said, Chris, what's the deal here? He said, I didn't give nobody no hard time. Wasn't picking on anybody named Julius. Or he said, I'm not picking on Julius. We've had a few Juliuses come through school here. So I said, Coach, what do you think we ought to do? He said, let's give him 2 licks and get him back in there and make him behave and teach him a lesson, get him back in class. I said, I guess I need to read the discipline referral before I take him to exact action. I need to see exactly what had happened. So he hands me the discipline referral. I open it up, and as I'm opening it up, he wants to really send a message to Chris that I know that the football coach is going to handle this at practice, and that I should just give him 2 licks and get him on back to class. So he jumps up in Chris's face. He says, I don't know who this Julius dude is, but you better leave him alone from now on. So I open up the piece of paper, and in Miss Belsky's handwriting it says, Chris continues to disrupt our Julius Caesar lesson. I had to have a witness. I went and got Coach Bledsoe immediately and brought him in to let him read the note because I couldn't believe what I had just heard and what I had just read. I said, Chris, you're going to have to leave Julius Caesar alone. Don't be picking on him anymore, okay? Now, I'm not going to give you 2 licks for this, but you're going to stop picking on Julius Caesar. And then I pulled Coach Cross aside and explained to him who Julius Caesar was. So that's my Miss Belsky story.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Was it March 15th?
The Ides of March.
That's fantastic.
Golly.
That's really good.
That's great.
This place is a breeding ground for incredibly successful football coaches down the road. It really is.
Yeah, John, is it, can we say where he is?
He's
I
at
guess we
Clemson.
can. He's at
Clemson
Clemson.
now,
He's an
yeah.
analyst at Clemson.
Saw him on the sidelines during the bowl game.
The Cheez-It Bowl.
I got a picture of him.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you want to show it to
Can
the
I
camera?
do this real quick?
Yeah, do it, man.
Yes.
You're a host.
All right, Mr. Whaley, when he first got here, I got to tell two of them.
There's a ton of them. Here we go.
All right, when you first got here, I mean, you come from Oxford. You've been over at Oxford. And you come here, and you've been putting sod on the baseball field.
At Oxford,
at Oxford. And then when you got here, we were siding the baseball field here.
Yes.
Now, in this picture, I don't know if you can hold it up to the camera. Now Coach Gross is in this picture.
Get him on.
Y'all take a look at that.
Whaley's camera.
Look, there's Coach Gross right there. He's wearing those coveralls right there.
I don't know if you can't. You can't see that.
And then here's the baseball field when we got sod on there. But anyhow, Mr. Whaley got over here, and we were sodding the baseball field. And I want you to notice Coach Gross in those coveralls right there.
Yeah.
Now look, this is probably the funniest thing. I laugh more at this than anything else ever that you ever did. But
he knows.
But y'all might not think this is funny.
Hey,
but
I am a problem solver. Let's just say I'm a problem solver.
I couldn't hold my composure. Y'all take a good look at those coveralls. They're dicky coveralls.
We are going to post these photos and any relevant information on social media. So follow us on social media.
I've always been a problem solver.
This is probably not the funniest thing.
Principal.
I laugh more at this than anything else. So we were having team picture day, and Coach Gross told everybody to wear tan pants, like khaki pants, and everybody shows up. All the coaches, so all the coaches and everybody show up. With
I
tan.
live 30 miles away. I can't just run back to the house and get some.
Well, he shows up over here with blue pants. And so we're all waiting to take the team picture. And he's in the field house messing around doing something. Everybody's just out there waiting. And what he does, he goes in the field house and he gets Coach Gross's dicky coveralls. And look, they had paint on them. They got another picture here where he's got paint on. They had paint on them, grease on them. They probably had some rips in them and everything. He takes those coveralls and he sticks the top down in the legs.
Right.
And puts them on.
Makes them in the pants.
Yeah. And just takes his belt, that old belt he had, no belt loops or anything, and he tightens
cinches it up.
He comes walking out of the back of the field house, and I just lost it. I couldn't hardly get my composure to take the picture. But if you're looking at the picture, you can't tell unless you know.
Yeah,
but you can tell it right there. Look at that.
Yeah, because you can see there are no belt loops. It's a solid black belt around.
I don't know where he gets this story. Those are just regular khakis. I brought khakis that day.
So he's denying it.
But that's probably not the...
The only thing that would make this better if it was like baling twine holding your pants up.
Please show Justin. Please show Justin. Let him.
Well, it's 1990. What was it, 95, 96? I mean,
96.
Hey, pleats were in. Those pleats, yeah. Look at that lineup. Look at those guys. Terrifying.
If you're listening to this, this is what nostalgia sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
is nostalgia in front. Yeah, and
incarnate.
This is really the things that are coming back through. I mean, just waves of incredible.
Looking at that staff, I remember Coach Cross one day, he wanted us to get power to the tower.
Here we go.
We had a practice tower out there on the practice field.
The lagoon.
Still there.
It didn't have power on it. And
still doesn't.
He looked at the coaching staff to see, hey, it'd be nice if we had power out there to run our camera equipment. Now, we got to agree right now that Coach Murphy's not going to interrupt me as I tell this story. He can hear my version out, and then he can tell you whatever he wants to tell you. But Coach Murphy volunteers me and him to try and get power out there. I said, all I can do is maybe get some extension cords or something, but we didn't want them running across the field and everybody trip over them. Coach Murphy comes up with the idea to suspend the extension cords from the top of the field house to the top of the tower and let it dangle through the air. Now, it's 2 o'clock. We're up there. It's
this
last
is
period
OSHA
of the
certified,
day.
right?
Yes,
OSHA certified.
no doubt. Okay. He's got 2 100-foot extension cords he's going to put together and run them out there and get us power so we can have it for the camera equipment. I'm there to assist. I'm really just trying to supervise. I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, he just starts acting like a cowboy with the extension cords. He's got this loop going. And he slings it up onto the top of the building. There's power lines coming to the side of the building. There's this big piece of conduit, metal conduit coming out of the roof. And he's going to throw the extension cord over that and then walk it out to the tower and walk up the steps of the tower, and he'll never need a ladder. Well, he's not very good at cowboying. His cord ends up on the power lines. Very close.
I know, it's it.
I'm going, that's not safe. Oh, we've got power lines up there. We've got extension cords here. And we've got 15 minutes before the football players get up here. He said, we got to get this down. I said, yeah, you do. I said, ain't no way about it. You got to do it. He says, no, look. Here's what we're going to do. He says, "I'm gonna." He finds
He's itching to jump in.
he finds this extension thing. Looks like something you would clean a swimming pool out with. A very long, one of those long rods that's got a net on the end. You clean your swimming pools out with. He's got this 20-foot extension rod. I don't know where he found it, up against the side of the field house. And he's going to
Metal.
Yes,
Metal.
and he's
OSHA
going
certified.
to grab those extension cords and pull them back off those lines. And he looks at me and he says, "Now look, if this thing gets me, if this hits me, if that electricity gets me, what I need you to do, Whaley, is run as hard as you can, just plow right into me, and knock me off of it. Because once the juice gets in, you have to grip, and you can't let go. You got to have." I said, "Run that by me one more time."
Yeah, I totally agree.
He said,
Nothing.
he says, "I'm going to get this off. We don't have any choice. Players are about to be out here on the practice field. For safety reasons, we've got to get this done now. I'm going to try and get this off the line, and if it starts to zap me with electricity, I want you to just plow right into me as hard as you can to try and knock it off of me." I said, "Run that by me one more time." "You want me to do what?" I told him it wasn't going to happen, and I walked away. I don't know how he got the cords down. I ain't got a clue.
Okay, so we've got to have a resolution to this story.
No, I totally agree with everything you said. You just need to reverse us two in the story.
What? Hold on. Hold on.
But I don't know. I don't remember how you got the cord down. No, you told me to just run into you. I just sit there and watch the whole time you was doing that whole throwing it over the. I'm just sitting there watching.
So it was you. It was you. It was you.
Yeah.
And see, I just learned something. This is why he let us off the beta.
Yeah.
That was good.
You know what? I've done some stupid crap before too. Yeah.
What it was you just recognized game, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
recognized.
Game recognized
Like, I'm that
game.
guy. I know him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just sit there and watch you do all that stuff the whole time. And you just told me to run and knock you off.
Those are good memories.
They
Oh,
are.
that's great. That is great. That is great.
Good memories.
Okay, so go ahead.
So, last thing that I wanted to bring up while we were here, specifically with you, 4 days. 4 days before.
4 days is a short period of time.
It's a short period of time. And 4 days before one of the biggest moments of my young adult life to that point
Graduation.
was graduate. Ooh, do you have an
Do you
idea?
remember?
Do you have an idea?
Senior prank.
No, I never did a senior prank. Thankfully, because Lord, if I
This
did,
probably, just FYI, as an educator, and I've never done this because it's basically outlawed now, but he probably wouldn't have remembered this.
no.
Amongst the many that he probably did.
So 4 days before we graduate, we are in assembly. We are doing awards day, end of the year awards day.
Big deal.
The
I expect
entire
Awards Day to go nice.
The entire
Without
school is there.
Oh, maybe he does remember.
And for whatever reason, we were usually pretty good as a whole entire class body. We were
Clint,
usually
by the time I remember you all the way through school, and by the time in the 12th grade, what you had gotten really good at was not getting caught. That was the only thing you were good at, Clint.
I don't know about that.
Okay, but we did catch you that day. All right. So.
Well, I think he remembers.
Yeah, he remembers.
So the general student body is usually pretty good at assembly, but we were a little raucous. I don't know why, and we got called out for it. I want to say it might have been Miss Milam. She got up to the things that well, I've been a part of many.
I remember that.
I've been a part of many.
Finished strong.
No, we didn't.
No.
Many assemblies, and this is by far, and I'm very disappointed in you. Blah blah blah. So the school body, the whole entire student body is like, okay, maybe we need to kind of straighten up some. So she goes on and gives out her math award, and she gives it to, and this is where I'm circling back to Eric Brown, Eric G. Brown. Math award goes to Eric Brown. Clap, clap, clap. Silence.
As it should.
As it should be. Complete silence. Eric Brown steps. You hear him step down the bleachers. You hear his shoes squeaking across the floors. He's going to go to his little award. About the time he steps up Miss Milam and puts his hand on that award, just like that right there, to the top of my lungs, I scream out, and he's single too, ladies.
Oh no!
Mr. Whaley.
Aaron.
Mr. Whaley gets up, walks to the microphone. Clint Thompson see me in my office at the end of this assembly.
Yeah.
Oh crap!
Hold on. Can we get a replay of how you actually said it? Did you hush it, or did you, Clint? You know.
No, everybody laughed, and then he just got up, walked over.
Give us a take.
Clint Thompson, my office. As soon as this thing's over.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So assemblies ended. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can get out without, getting caught. There, and he's waiting for me. I go to his office. This is 4 days before graduation. He goes, "Can't suspend you. I got to do something. What is it going to be?" I said, "Can you just give me some licks and get this over with?" He said, "Sure thing." 4 days before I graduate, I get a paddling from the vice principal.
So
and it's like, it's not one of those like, pow, pow, pow.
no, there's a lot behind it.
It's like,
Had to be.
I've covered for you for this many number of years. This is going to hurt.
In my mind, I see your face on Mel Gibson's body in The Patriot. You know, where he gets that, it just keeps on. And like, just blood soup starts coming up,
I got one from Ken Logan a few days before I graduated.
Really?
Yeah.
With the
I'm
whole-
probably the only
That's old
administrator
school.
in the state of Alabama who has allowed a student to paddle me. Luke Seawright.
Luke
I heard about
Luke Seawright. I let him paddle me. You can bring him on the show, get his version of it. I'll never do that ever again.
Can you paddle in K-12 anymore?
Yeah.
Can you still do it?
There's still some going on.
Hey, are you done with the paddling?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I only got 2 paddlings. One was from Coach Morrow, which wow. And the second was from this guy right here. And here's the thing: after 2 years after graduation, I told my mom this exact story, and she was to hear, "Nobody's supposed to paddle you without my consent." Blah. I was like, "Mom, it's 4 days for graduation. I just wanted it over. Like, I done made an ass out of myself. I got to do something."
Honestly, you deserved it.
Yeah.
Maybe not for
Says
that.
the instigator.
Maybe not for that. Well,
Did you instigate that comment?
No.
I'm
okay.
sure I
Yeah,
instigated
it's probably your
some.
fault.
It probably was. I had something to do with
Hey,
it.
while I'm thinking about this, let me ask y'all if y'all remember this. Do y'all remember the food drive that we had? And the box stayed out there for about a week. I don't remember who was having a food drive. It may have been Beta Club. and
Might have been.
there was seriously, there was only in a week, there was only like 2 to 4 cans of food in there, and he got in front of the student body with that box, called everybody in there before school started, and just kicked it over. And those 4 cans just rolled out and just got on everybody. We're gonna do better than this. This better be full tomorrow, and there better be another one full. I mean, there was food coming in, just pallets coming in. Do y'all remember that?
I do remember
when he did that, when he
that.
kicked that box. That's all. That's really all you had to do was just kick the box
Fire
over
'em up.
and just let those 4 cans roll out.
Fire
It was
up.
that dramatic?
Oh yeah,
It was.
that's
I don't
really
remember,
all you
I
had
don't
to
remember
do.
4. I was thinking it was like 2.
Probably so. It was less. It was.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
2.
It's probably
was
like some
embarrassing.
expired
Yeah, but
yams.
it started coming in the next day.
That's what
That
you got to
food.
do. That's what you got to
You're a
do.
problem solver.
I'm a problem
So
solver.
let me mention just a couple of things before we go on. I don't know how long we've been going, but let me see what you remember
Oh, no.
about. I was going to say Marion Military Institute.
I was there.
What's your first thing that comes to mind on that? Taking the football.
Dan looking at that 7-man sled down there in the morning while the dude's still on the ground.
So we went down there for 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
Left on Wednesday, come back on Saturday, and went down there and practiced. When we started going 2 days.
Yeah.
I remember the sled, and you driving that sled in Mara.
Yeah. I remember the swimming. I remember them getting to go swimming in the nice.
Yeah,
Pool
that was a
there.
good place to go. They couldn't quit. Nobody could quit. Nobody could leave. You was down there 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
But what about, have y'all ever seen somebody, I think this is called, I believe this is called witching for water.
Yes,
Have
yeah.
you ever seen that?
My grandfather.
Okay.
My dad used to do
No,
that.
No one here had ever seen it.
No, wait a minute.
All right.
I had seen people
Now, hold
do
on.
this.
With a stick or with the
Coat
rods?
hangers.
Okay,
Now,
I've
now
heard
just,
of both.
just
I've
some
heard both.
just some context. When people do that, it's like it looks like just two like
Like a Y.
Somebody, holding a Y or holding 2 rods, and if they touch, supposedly there's water under the ground there where you can put a well. That's what it is for those that just don't know what it is.
Yeah, now I've seen people do that just to find water, like to dig down like one hole, fixing a water line or something like that. But one summer we decided that we were going to change all the sprinklers on the football field. Was there 32 of them?
32.
We were going to put. Yeah, we used to have screw-in sprinklers, and it was a headache. You had to go put them in and take them out. So we were going to put in pop-ups. And we had to dig down all the way to the water lines, all the way down. And Coach Gross, he got on the backhoe. He was on the backhoe, and he dug them all up.
These lines were not close to the surface. These lines were 3 feet deep.
But I'd seen people do it before, but he did. We didn't know where the lines were. And he did that with the coat hangers. And how many sprinklers are on the actual field? Probably
32.
There's some back in the end zone. Yeah. He nailed every one of them. He didn't miss one of them with those coat hangers. And we dug down right there on every one of those water lines. He nailed them all.
And for those of you that don't know, like, really what we're talking about, go and watch that on YouTube, because there's some guys, like, I've seen this old guy do it with a piece of, I think it was cherry wood or some kind of fruit-based wood. Yeah. And like I said, it looks like a Y, and he's sitting there, and he's holding this thing, the 2 sticks like this, and he walks, and he is gripping that thing as hard as it can, and it's tearing the bark off the stick to point downward. It is. It
was amazing, because we had to dig up the field. It was like there was 32 graves dug out there.
There was a backhoe digging 32 holes up there.
Yeah, Coach Cross was on the backhoe.
And we had a game like 4 weeks from then.
Wow.
I mean, we were doing this around July 1 or something. There was our middle of July, and there was a game in August, and
he nailed them every one.
We did.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't want to stretch things out too, but I knew that the one thing that I did want, since I knew that you were going to be here and everything today, and I don't want to turn the mood too much, but because I'm not a podcast speaker or anything, but it's rare.
You've done great so far, by the way.
Your Christian
I hate to interrupt the beginning of that story.
No.
But it's been really awesome having him on. Both of them have done a really good job.
I would love to come back.
Why don't you get a room after the podcast? You ain't got to do it here.
Why don't? Never mind. You know what? I try to be nice to somebody.
Yeah, go to the sheriff.
Hope you don't get that bed he broke.
I wondered all the time what happened to that, because I wonder if anybody laid down on it and it just imploded again.
Can you imagine? God,
Can you imagine some big old lady laid down
on that trying to have a weekend, and this guy, there's blood and ice chips. But
ice melts.
But it's all wet.
I don't know, Todd.
I don't know, Margo.
Oh, Lord, Todd and Margo. But it's rare that you get to come back because, for all intents and purposes, you don't really get to run into your high school principal or assistant principal anymore.
No.
Although, back in November, my dad and I are up at Asheville, North Carolina at the Cove to see Phil Keggy, and we're checking into our room, and I run head first into Tom Sanders and say, "Hey, buddy, he's here too." So small world. But anyway, I knew that I did want to say, since you're here, not to go whatever, and I get too hallmarky here, but from somebody who's now 38, we're pushing 40.
Shut up.
Educators in our own right, and this is for you too. But you guys, you showed up every day. You did lead the school with integrity, with honesty. You were good to us. You gave us grace. And really, you provided a good arena for us to have the best time of our life.
Even me?
He's hedging.
Even me?
Yeah. So
he's hedging.
And so in all seriousness, thank you, really.
Yeah.
You're a credit to the profession, and we had the time of our lives because of you and y'all, and we still get around once a year and laugh about all this stuff.
Yeah, we do.
There's a whole other. We could do a version 2 of this when we talk about the band room.
No. Until that thing is demolished, we can't say anything about that because it's still standing.
Which band room?
The
old one.
Well, in all seriousness, thank you, because the single funniest, the hardest I've ever laughed on these premises, and I really won't say who it was, but that probably needs to be discussed. I've never laughed so hard in my life.
We'll talk about it off air, and we'll maybe get around.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how you want to get that in.
Yeah,
because there probably would be some.
Yeah, I don't know if statute of limitations can save me on that one.
Was it illegal?
No.
Well, what was done was to the
yeah, it was illegal
to the gentleman's vehicle.
Oh,
but the
Well, thanks for those kind words.
Yeah, I did it, though. Yeah,
I saw Eric Brown's daddy the other day, and it was good to see him.
Yeah,
Eric
yeah.
Brown. Saw his mom and dad. I haven't seen him in a while. It was good to see
We all got together over Christmas.
holidays,
you know,
yeah.
got together on the pack. Yeah.
It was one of my vehicle, was it?
No.
Not this time.
All right.
No. But oh my gosh, yeah. You had one that got picked up and moved.
Yeah, put on top of the school. Everybody.
Yeah.
Kids believe that now.
This was actually more, and there were some people at our school who
There's some ruffians.
there were some ruffians who,
Yeah.
who did do some things to an employee's vehicle, and anyway, we'll talk about it. but you may just go. Let me do it. Just do it. So I won't say who it was. This is an epilogue. I've never seen a display of visceral human anger as was displayed by this guy. And I know he's a good friend of mine. I'm really not going to say who he is, but he was band director at the time. And
Nathan Haskew.
No, not Nathan. Nathan's good, but you know he did well in life and dressed nice and everything. Sometimes he'd stand out there in the bus thing with a fox wrapped around his neck, and you know, and that brought a little whatever. Well, unfortunately, people did shoot nails on his incredibly nice vehicle.
Oh God!
And poured coke in the thing, and it's just bad. It's terrible. I don't know who did it, but it's all. Anyway, he pulled us all in there. He gets the whole band and everybody in there, and he's just. I mean, he's. You probably edited all this out, but
No,
no,
can't.
you probably didn't say it. He was always on the verge of really just losing it any time. You know who I'm talking about, I think. And he's so mad he's crying.
Yeah.
He's got tears streaming down his face. Not sad. It's just this,
Anger.
like, anger.
Angry.
And these are like 7th graders in there. You know? Oh, it's so good. I can't talk about it without laughing because I was so. We were able to recognize men that are now our age who were always about to snap.
Yeah.
You know, and like
Had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me every day.
Yeah,
And I
same.
thought you were a better kid than that. The whole time you were in school.
No, man. I didn't. See, here's my thing. I never did anything. I'm like the mafia with Hoffa. Like I just kind of winked.
You never got caught.
Was never
did
even
anything
in the conversation of anything that went on.
Yeah.
I had no clue about all
I
this.
just planted seeds.
I had no clue about any of this.
That was me.
That
was me.
I did that. Yeah. I planted a lot of seeds. Not on this band director's car. That was really sad. But his reaction was just he was shaking. And I mean, he would be like, if y'all know who did it. It was. We'll talk about it.
I will say
can't
who
wait
I
to-
think it is.
Yeah, I think I know.
I think I know who it is. I'll say it off air though.
Yeah, I was about to say I can't wait until. Yeah, we'll talk about when we go.
Well, I
there.
can't say what he said on this because you
No.
won't be able to say it. But oh my gosh, if you just if dark comedy gets you,
Yeah.
man, you can't write it. Nobody's ever written.
Were
this
you
scene.
witness to this in first person?
No.
You witnessed it first. You were there. Okay.
Well,
No. You
Not-
didn't witness
not
the
the event that happened.
event.
But
Oh,
the
it's-
anger.
It was
reaction.
everybody in ag class sit out there and shoot.
Shoot nails off of somebody's car. Were you the principal? Was they the principal then?
No.
I was AP.
I see anything.
You remember when the event happened?
And they poured something in the gas tank.
They poured a Coke in the gas tank. He was driving off.
This is bad.
Back to what you were saying earlier, you know, we would show up every day to try to educate you guys.
Yeah.
This is what we would get in
This
return.
is what you got.
Now it is amazing. You talk about stuff like that. That there's just not fights. I mean, how do you do this every day?
Yeah.
If
I think
somebody-
about this every day. How do I do this every day?
Yeah.
There's stuff going on
Honestly-
like that. People
honestly,
shoot
that's-
nails
that's
at your
it.
car.
I was thinking about that Monday. I had a horrible day Monday, and I sat in here and I thought to myself,
Why?
no joke, I did. I thought to myself, why? And I had a deep conversation with myself, and then I thought, how long you been teaching?
I'm on 27.
If Murphree can make it
28.
27 years,
Yeah.
28 years, I'm good. I'll be able to. I'll be fine.
But I wouldn't have made it if I hadn't.
Now, how long? You just retired, like you said.
did.
How long?
With leave and all that I had built up, 29.
29. And how long have you been?
So I'll be vested this year. So this will be year 10.
Well, I'll have that many in. Yeah, I'll have that many in next year, 29. And you just retired. Tell us what you're doing now, though, dude.
Yeah.
Tell us all about you.
Yeah, what are you up to these days?
What
you doing?
Thank you. I'm designing audio tours to provide historical information. Like, for example, if you was to drive through a national park, it works a lot like turn-by-turn navigation. You download it onto your smartphone, and then as you're traveling, it keeps up with your location, and it just automatically starts telling you what's coming up next in the park, whether it's wildlife or history, geology, a scenic view, and it lets you know where all the highlights are. And then, you know, it's basically like having a tour guide in the car with you without having a stranger in the car with you. And I've done one here for St. Clair County. I'm working on it. There's 20 different historical markers all over the county, and really interesting stuff that I did not know about St. Clair County. Asheville comes from the John Ash family. Some neat things happened over in Cook Springs, just really all over the county. So I'm putting together a tour of it. And my website's called greatplacestosee.com. It's the number 2 instead of a T-O. greatplacestosee.com. And just having a lot of fun, just learning a lot of history. I've done a tour on Calhoun County, Etowah County, St. Clair, DeKalb. Doing Baldwin County right now. I've done the Natchez Trace over in Mississippi up to Tennessee. There's over 100 different historical markers over there to stop at. And then I'm working on Blue Ridge Parkway right now.
That is awesome.
Yeah. That is awesome. So cool. Guys, check that out in the show notes. We'll have that down in the show notes, your website and all the appropriate information.
One other thing I want to throw out there is I've been podcasting for about the past 4 or 5 years. We podcast our...
Had no idea.
Yeah. We do football games live on Friday nights.
Really?
And so if you know of anyone out there who would like to maybe learn how to podcast a live event, a ball game, I'd love to...
Okay. You got to tell him the Mace story.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you got to tell him. Before we go to our recommendations, you got to tell him that.
Okay, so Nick and I were part of a...
We produced.
We produced and basically ran the show of a college game day-esque preview show that would happen Friday nights prior to whatever round of the playoffs called Road to the Blue Map with the guys from Average Joe Sports.
Because in the state of Alabama, the state championship trophy is a blue map of Alabama.
Right.
So it was called Road to the Blue Map. Every week we go to a different stadium of that playoff event, the playoff game.
So the semifinal event was Mountain Brook versus Clay Chalkville, who went on to win the state championship. And we were at Mountain Brook. Anybody that knows anything about Mountain Brook knows very, very wealthy area, have a lot of nice things, turf field. They got a big, huge video board up against the
LED lights that
they have the whole the whole strobe show that's big in college football right now. It was a fantastic thing. So we're sitting there and we ended up losing power, which is a story in itself.
Yeah,
but after we came back on for take 2, on the sideline, it was very cold that night. On the sideline, we had a propane tank.
Just off camera.
Off camera with 2 big heating elements on it. So my son, Mays, was with us, and he was bundled up, but, a little nip in the air. It's still pretty cold. Well, we're on air going through stuff. And
I think we're on the Andalusia game. I specifically remember we're on the Andalusia. We are. We had just come back.
And one of the analysts for the Average Joes just, I guess it just shocked him.
This is what he did.
He goes, he's on fire. He says it just like that.
He says it just like that.
And all of a sudden it turns and looks and says, oh my gosh, he's on fire.
So you do Reggie. Do Reggie. Do Reggie.
He's on fire.
He's on fire. I did it just like that. I said it just like that.
As country as a butterbean.
As country as that could. He was. There were flames.
So what happened, my son had on a couple pairs of pants, some sweatpants or whatever, and then he had on a T-shirt, a long sleeve shirt, and a hoodie. Well, when we were coming up, you got next to a heater of any sort, our natural reaction was to put our hands behind us. That we kind of understand, hey, we're getting kind of hot, let's step away. Kids these days, their hands are preoccupied with phone.
Let's take that. He was doing
So
this.
he's sitting there on his phone doing whatever, and he's like, well, I'm not warm enough. So he backs up. I'm not warm enough. So he backs up. Next thing I know, he's backed up into the heater, and he's caught himself on fire.
That's awesome.
So then Nick hollers, oh my gosh, he's on fire. He has no idea he's on fire.
I'm
Like,
yelling
he just
at him.
walks around and is like, who is he talking
No
about?
joke, no joke. It was like Uncle Lewis. He turns around. He's like, "What? What? And
What are you looking at?
There are flames coming up his backside.
So like he's patting himself out, and I think that he's got it. And about that time, he turns where I see his back, and all of a sudden it goes like that, and all of a sudden there's flames everywhere. And I get up, and there's video of this. You can go and see it. There's video of this. You can hear it in the background. Where I get up out of the chair, and all you hear is a metal steel folding chair fall into the ground. And then Nick goes, oh my God, oh my gosh! I tell him to stop, drop, and roll, and the reaction I get out of him is, huh? So I take my 13-year-old flesh and blood. I take him,
Offspring,
and I throw him onto the ground, and on this very nice artificial turf.
Yeah.
And I throw him to the ground, and I look at him and say, "Roll."
But then he ended up on the rubber, the nice new rubber track.
No, that was after it was already put out.
Oh, okay.
So
Did you see it?
I don't know
watched it.
what happens to a kid when you tell him to roll. It's not here to here. It's we're going to get in a race and we're going to log roll as fast as we can. Well, anybody that knows anything about oxygen and fuel and fire and how all that works, it just spreads the flames. So my 270-pound self, whenever he gets on his back, I belly flop on top of him to put the flames out, and then start stripping clothes off of him. Because it's all synthetic material.
That's where the second "oh my gosh" came from.
Whenever I jumped on is when the second "oh my gosh" came from. So then I start like stripping clothes off of him because everything he wears like Under Armour synthetic material. I'm worried about it melting to him. So I'm like stripping my kid down naked in the middle of like high-priced Birmingham high school, trying to make sure he's not like caught on fire.
And
Burn Mountain
and
Brew.
we
We
are
are
all
live.
all of this is happening. It's Josh Abercrombie, myself, Reggie Davis, and Bo Starkey, and I'm looking to the side of the camera, like I'm looking here. If you're the camera, I'm looking here, and I'm going, oh my gosh!
Like the actual event itself is not on film.
No.
But you can see
Their
reaction,
Yeah.
and hear all the commotion in the background.
Yeah, I watched it. It's okay. It's okay, Mountain Brook. We're just burning your field off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, what about the field?
Feels
Oh,
good.
it was fine.
Feels
It's fine.
good.
It didn't harm it at all. You know.
So
But yeah, it was good stuff. So we've talked a lot.
can I
shared some
can I
great
tell
stories.
one more story?
Go ahead.
So right before we graduated, in the class that you got out of in Miss Gibson's class, we decided we were going to learn how chess works,
Held on as long as it could.
and we got Coach Whaley in to play Hammy in a chess match.
He's going back.
And what ended up happening was, I think Hammy actually ended up beating you in a very close match. But before you left out of the room, going back to do whatever it is an AP does at the time, you had told us a
He didn't do
story.
much.
About,
Not-
you told us a story, and I don't know. I'm sure you remember the story because it's more of a joke. But you had said that you were helping a neighbor birth a cow, and said that the son was on the fence post watching the whole entire thing, and didn't, your neighbor was like, I don't know how I'm going to explain it to him. You said, well, you're just going to go tell him, just ask him if he's got any questions, and just go from there. And said that, your neighbor walked up and talked to the son and was like, all right, I know you've seen a lot going on and you probably got questions. I'm here to answer them, what you got. And the little boy looks at him and says, Daddy, I ain't got any questions, but I do have one. And he goes, okay, son, what is it? He says, exactly how fast was that cow running when he run in the back end of that other cow? And I don't know how many times I've told that story, but I've told that story a ton of times thanks to you. So thanks for keeping it clean.
It's a good one.
It was
That's
a good one.
That's awesome. Okay, let's go around the table. Let's talk about what we're enjoying, taking part in, recommending. I know you two have listened to at least a little bit of this podcast. You probably know we do recommendations. So we'll go first and give you time to get yours together. Clint, do you have any?
I have
currently?
one.
Go
I
ahead.
have one. Homemade Chex Mix.
Aaron
Hush. Like, you can get the stuff in the bag, and it's really good. I mean, I like me some Chex Mix, but you take and you make some of that stuff homemade and, like, double the seasoning and stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
And that's a holiday thing.
So this is total poke, just total poke.
Whatever you want to recommend to
Do you
somebody.
put hot sauce in it?
No, Carrie does Worcestershire and lots of like garlic powder and onion powder and things like
good
that.
stuff.
It's some good stuff. Not good for you, but good stuff.
I know you got yours lined up.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'll throw it out there.
What do you want you to do?
Well, I know. I mean, you're all right. Tracy Lawrence, country music.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead.
Hindsight 2020.
Well, see, I don't know if y'all listened to that or not that I gave to you before, but it's his 30th year in country music, and he's releasing those 3 CDs. But that first one, that Hindsight 2020, that Volume 1, I just thought it was fantastic. I don't think I've ever recommended it, but it was seriously, I've never listened to any country music after 2005. I don't know when I stopped listening to it. I just quit listening to it. He must that Volume 1. It's a little bit of new stuff, but it's old stuff too. But see, I had never heard any of those songs before. So when I found it last year, it was just like all new stuff to me. But it was probably a lot of it was 15 years old. Yeah, it sounded like late 80s, early 90s, and it was. I just thought it was great. Yeah. So, but he's fixing to release. He's released the first 2, and he's going to release the 3rd one at the end of January.
Okay.
So it's like 3 CDs or 3 volumes.
Okay.
But I just thought it was fantastic.
I've got a real quick recommendation. It's another podcast. These guys are out of, I want to say, Iowa, The Confused Breakfast. They're a movie review podcast, and they review movies that they watched from the rental store in their childhood. They're all actually a little older than you two. They're early millennials. They're late 80s, 90s kids, and it is explicit, but they go basically scene by scene through the film, and they give it a nostalgia score, but then they give it a modern perspective. They're like an actual movie review score of the film. And I listened to the Christmas Vacation episode, and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed.
You showed me some of the
clips.
TikTok clips from it, and it was really good.
They're really good. They've got a phone number. You can call in, leave a voicemail. They'll play the voicemail on air.
Okay.
They've got a couple of segments like that, pretty little cool. Small. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's well produced. They do a really good job. So shout out to those guys from the Confused Breakfast podcast. You can get them Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. So, which one of y'all would like to?
Go ahead.
I'm going to get in trouble with this. That's okay. I don't care.
I'm retired.
I'm retired. I want to make a recommendation to the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
Is this a platform?
Hold on.
This is a platform.
I believe that all cheerleader squads should be a sport. And I believe instead of having tryouts the way they do and let judges decide who is going to be on the cheerleader squad, what we should do is just have a coach, a cheerleader coach, pick their team. Just now in football, everybody comes out pretty much makes the team.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to be cheerleader, come out, you're on the squad. We practice all week and we start our best 12. Everybody else sit on the bench. If we need to sub during the game, we'll sub. But we put our best 12 out there. Whoever practices the best in football, you play your starting 11.
Right.
I say we do the same thing for cheerleaders. I recommend get rid of the tryouts, the judges, and all that, and have, hey, you want to be on the team, come on. Whoever practices the best that week, they're starting 11 or 12 on Friday night, cheering the team on.
I agree. It is a sport, right?
I like the concept.
Yeah, I do too.
It's great.
You might hurt some feelings when you put your linemen out there, though, because those have to be the bases, right?
Well, you do what you got to do. You know,
I can't believe Clint just said that.
I can't.
So it sounds like you have experience trying to navigate situations.
Oh, wow.
I've been a school administrator for 20 years, and cheerleader squads, they take up a lot of administrative time. They really do.
And energy?
Yes. They're worth it. They
absolutely.
They're worth it. I'm glad we have them. I just think we can improve on the test. We don't do that with any other unit on the. We don't have judges picking any other team like that. Now, if we're going to only have, you can only have 15 basketball uniforms in a playoff game, and there's so many baseball uniforms you can have. But in football, as many want to be on the team, we'll find you shoulder pad and helmets.
As long as you got numbers for them.
I say we do the same thing with cheerleading. As many want to cheer, let them cheer, but we're just going to start the ones who deserve to be starters. They can all dress out. They'll ride the bench with me, and I'll sub in all night long if I'm the cheer coach.
I've got a lot that I would love to say, but as I'm currently a coach and card-carrying member of the HSA, I will refrain. But I've got so much to add to that yes, that I will tell you.
It's a really
off
good
air.
idea.
It is.
I have no dog in any hunt with it, but just in theory, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
So Justin, your recommendation?
You're up.
Man, that's tough.
By the way, I have before he starts, I just want to go ahead and note your Twitter is amazing. I love seeing you tweet.
Well,
whether it's about music, theology, political science,
sort of a potpourri.
It's amazing, and
Well,
I say that because I agree with 91.5% of it, and then the other 8.5% that I disagree. Is that math right? That I disagree with. I'm like, okay, he makes a very good argument, and he sounds smarter than me, so I'm going to default to whatever he just said. So thank you for that. Thank you for enlightening me.
My percentage of that exact answer is way higher.
This I know you said you're looking forward to meeting me. It's mutual.
Yeah.
And the same for your Twitter. Your
Twitter's great.
I am.
What's going on here?
We're having a moment.
Come on.
I am far more honored to meet you and be here than the other way. So,
we gotta have him on again.
I would love to if you have me back.
We gotta have both of them on again. There's so much more.
Guys, I was going to tell you, y'all have an open end.
Davies great. We haven't talked about Travis Davies.
Travis Davies. Davies great.
On this program. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the interest of nostalgia, I would encourage everybody to go listen. My recommendation. Driving on this campus, it was the song that I had playing, and I'm
You're a song guy.
I'm a mess of a man, but I would encourage everybody, if you haven't listened to "Boys of Summer" lately, go listen to "The Boys of Summer" by Don Henley, and listen to it in light of the fact, Henley likes to tell stories and lyrics. Probably my favorite lyricist, but that song is about kind of what we've been talking about today. It's about looking back. And, he made the 60s the girl in that song. Mm-hmm. That's what that song's about. It's about that time gone by. And if you listen to the verses, they're real. Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. I feel it in the air, the summer's out of reach.
God, such a great song.
It's perfect.
It is such a great song.
It's a perfect song. Mike Campbell, who is Tom Petty's guitar player, band leader, wrote the track, and Tom Petty didn't like it.
What?
Tom Petty did not like it. Campbell had... The chorus was minor at the time. Tom Petty didn't like it, so he literally went to Don Henley's house and changed it around and said, "Do you want this?" And Henley said, "Yeah, I think I can do something with it." And he calls it the best song he's ever written.
To me, the visuals in my head when I hear that song, it is this kind of ethereal landscape.
It's
where
perfect.
It's almost abandoned, vacant, and there's like a twilight,
Panama City Beach,
something going on, and it's just, I don't know. There's something to it, man.
Well,
great song.
And if you listen to the chorus, everything in the chorus is perfect. I can see you, your brown skin shine in the sun, and he's talking about, because a lot of times you do make the past better than what it was. And
for the longest time, I didn't know what wayfarers were.
Yeah, I know, right? So he's got those.
I learned what that was. I learned who the Swampers were. And
that's right.
That's all you need to know.
Muscle Shoals has them.
Yeah. Swampers.
Wayfarers. Like that. But there's just so I would encourage everybody. If you haven't listened to Boys of Summer, go back, sit down, pour your favorite beverage, and just listen to it. But listen to it with different ears. Listen to it, and he's not talking about a girl. He's talking about his
time going by,
time and experience, a life.
Yes, and he's made it a character. And she's of course perfect, like we always do. We always make our days better, like we sometimes do.
I don't remember my days.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. No. That's a shot at you. Thank you.
No, I'm serious. Like this place is very special, man. There was a lot of stuff personally in the peripheries that went on in the back part of my high school years that was very dark and heavy to live through, and this place was a haven,
Yeah.
And so that song really comes full circle.
Sure.
So I recommend, if you haven't listened to Boys of Summer, go to I'm not plugging anything, but he does a ballad version that he did on 2015 on Howard Stern. When
Did not know that.
And it's on YouTube. It's perfect. So.
Don Henley's one of my favorite music artists.
Oh man,
he's of course I'm a huge Eagles fan.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
All right. So before we get out of here, one more time, do you want to plug your arrangement stuff here? I don't know if this is.
I don't have anything. I don't know if anybody. I'm always a musician or an arranger, composer for hire. I actually did just book a commission. It's super. I don't know. I don't know how in the world Fortune smiled on this, but
high school band directors everywhere purchase his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I write. I've got 42 schools booked this year from. All over the country. I don't know how it started. I scratched out. Well, it started over there, right across the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just got a commission from a band out in Texas. A director in the area's son passed away suddenly. He was a special needs kid, very big in the Special Olympics, and I think he went in for just an appendectomy. Anyway, he passed away. So they played some of my stuff, and so they found me, got in touch with me, and asked me to write a piece and for the band. And the percussion section is going to be some of the Special Olympics teammates.
Wow.
And I think I'm going to try to go out. It's out in
awesome.
Texas for the premiere. Like stuff like that happens. I just started scratching down stuff for the Asheville High School band, and now people are coming to you with that kind of stuff. That's you can't write
full
circle.
And this is the Asheville High School Band's 50th anniversary this year.
I guess I can tell everybody I have been contracted to write Asheville's show this year. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Writing the show this year. Yeah.
Nice.
Mr. Tim Harris.
I've known Tim for a long time.
He's a great dude.
He's fantastic.
He's awesome.
He's super. He's cut out of that Gene English fabric, man. He's good. He's just a good person and a good band director. And so never written for Asheville, but I'm getting to this year.
And that's exciting. And a lot of our audience has no idea the names of the people or any context about the stories that we've shared at this table tonight. But
not yet.
They can. And I think Justin has a good point. They can at least take in the fact that, we all are reminiscing here. And even though I technically came from a different time at Asheville, it's just been fun to get to see you four guys really
11
enjoy.
Great years here. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
People always say, the place you come from is special. But I'll go head to head with people. There's really something special about this place.
Yeah,
there really
there
is.
is.
And any people who listen, you don't have to know the people we're talking about because
you got them in your
know
own
your
place.
story too.
Yeah.
And
it's your hometown too.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And there's just I know how I feel when I drive past this campus, and it's a good feeling, and it happens every time I drive by it. And there's no place like it. Yeah.
There's something about the good memories that just rise to the top.
It's just there. Yeah, it's just there. Yeah.
Guys, don't forget.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
One more time. Plug your website.
GreatPlacesToSee.com. Free. The app's free. You can get the app for free, and then if you want to purchase a tour. Right now, I've made the St. Clair County tour. It's free for the rest of the month. If anybody wants to do the St. Clair thing, if they're listening, or any of the others, all you got to do is just download it onto your phone, start driving. Or you don't even have to do that. You can stay at home in the recliner, and it allows you to go through, and you can hit the play button on each of the different historical markers.
Okay.
Pretty neat stuff.
That is really cool.
And, a high school teacher could pull it up on their desktop, put it up on the ViewSonic, and walk you through.
That is so awesome.
Everything that's being said is also written, so you can pull up the words and
that's a great virtual assignment for your kids.
Because
we're,
you should update it.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to do that stuff.
Yeah,
I'll spend 5 minutes with you afterwards and help you pull that up.
And then your podcast, if anybody's interested.
Well, we just do Friday Night Football. It's the Sachs High Wildcat football, but really, I'm interested in trying to help as many schools that want to do that as possible. Mm-hmm. For about $600 of a startup cost, and then about $40 a month, maybe $50 a month of cost to operate it.
Right.
And you can put out some really good, high quality broadcast of Friday Night Football or whatever you want.
Whatever you want, yeah.
Really surprised. I mean, the technology is just amazing now.
100%.
It's just, the quality of audio is really impressive.
I mean, some big dummies like me and Hammy basically started all this whole craze, it seems like, with the podcasts and stuff. So
yeah. Well, guys, I can't tell you how awesome it is to
appreciate
get y'all in here. I know we've gone long, and for those out there listening, hopefully you've enjoyed this. We thank you. Talk or Go Home on Facebook, on Twitter. Get with us. Keep up to date with us. We got some more cool stuff coming. Season 5 of Talk or Go Home. This has been great. Clint, David, thanks for coming back in.
No problem.
I think the tag was on. Yeah, the tag was on my hat the whole time.
Yeah. I noticed it halfway through. I wasn't going to say anything. So, but guys, seriously, keep up with us. We've got some great stuff coming for you this season. And I guess this is it. Don't forget, you can talk
or go home.
Clint, I'm sorry I came. I really apologize.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes, do it. Yes.
Let's do this.
We have stories.
All right, ready?